Okay. So mindfulness is so much to do with. First thing is, thank you very much for coming in, volunteering to come in. I think it's wonderful to see so many of us. I didn't know that. I thought it was optional. So yeah, it's wonderful to see you guys back. So we'll try and probably talk a bit of mindfulness and get to see the dynamics a bit more. And if you feel like maybe you can get into more of practicing a bit of mindfulness as we go. Idea is that if we're going to meet again and do a series of sessions, then as we go along, we will try and be mindful through the sessions. And even after the session, we'll have some takeaways to go back home and be mindful. So it's all with respect to us as individuals. So it's listening is one thing, but it's more of all the serious mindfulness practitioners for that reason charge huge amount of money to train, because they want to make sure only serious people come in, because it's a lot to do with us and whether we really want it or not. Right? Yeah, the data shows and why we want it. We can discuss through that a bit more. But it's something nice and good. So it's going to be quite a bit experiential. We'll see how much of that through this session, but definitely from going forward, we'll improve that experiential side of it, right? So what is mindfulness? What do we understand? What is it? Anybody?
How active our mind is.
Right? How full the mind is?
Concentration.
Concentration. Being able to concentrate. Okay.
Being in the present. Being aware of the present.
Yes.
Situation awareness.
Yes.
Being sensitive to situations and things.
Yes. It's all of this and more.
Taking the right decision at the right time.
Taking right decisions at the right time. Yes.
Feeling the present.
Feeling the present. Absolutely presence.
Being able to fully utilize the potential
Of the mind. Right. Fantastic. Yes. The backbenches. Jody.
Not being drifted.
Not being
Drifted away.
drifted away. Absolutely. Sweeting. I can see you.
No, I'm waiting for you to expand to me.
Okay. Wonderful. So that's the best answer, I must say. Excellent. So yes, mindfulness is all that what we all just said. But for what you said, right? Not to pick on you, but just to, it's not the mind being we being full of thoughts in the mind. We'll get into that a bit more. Okay. So what is mindfulness? So it's being in the moment, taking right decisions at the right time. How important is this? Is it important at all? Why?
Being focused.
Okay. But we are all focused right now, right? We have done a schooling, college. We're doing
Because
job.
we were mindful actually.
So we are already mindful. So what's the point?
You want to enrich it,
Enrich to?
to be more mindful.
next week we go to English.
Wonderful. That's actually correct. That's correct. So it's just that, see, it's the question is very important on why do we have to be talking about mindfulness? Why we all have to gather here and talk about it? Why is such keen interest? Because we have a tendency that we are so much with our five senses as we experience our life, and for all of us, for all practical reasons, the ball ends there. Whatever we can perceive through the five senses is where we are. So there's a lot of science, there's a lot of data that we keep looking at to believe and to do things. Mindfulness is one such thing. Why are you here? Why do you relate to it? if you dig a bit more deeper, it serves purpose because there's something a lot beyond data, a lot beyond logic, because there's something inside which makes you feel good, the glimpse of mindfulness you get. You can call it awareness, you can call it consciousness. I was telling last time, the names are not important. If I say mindfulness, if awareness or presence sounds more relevant for you or more appealing, use that. Words are just language. Look at the content behind it. So what's inside that relates you to this is important to know, because otherwise it's going to be one other excellent session to listen. We have so many things that we could listen to in YouTube and in some random seminars, and some Swamiji can give excellent lecture and all is good, but if it doesn't change our day, it doesn't matter to us. Maybe it matters, but probably it's a day or two that's going to stay with us. So that's why it's important to understand why. Yeah, maybe a bit more, but it's only a bit more, right? So it's so uncommon. Meditation is such a difficult thing, right? Nobody can do it. Can I do it? I'm sure we all have that thing. Most of us have that, right? So it's important to know if there is a need. Important for us to feel inside if there is a need. It's not about convincing anybody else. It's about convincing ourselves. Maybe there is not, and I'm not here to say that there is a need. It's for our own individual selves to figure out if there is a need. If there really is a need, right? Yes, so maybe we can get a bit touch better, but it's a lot more work, right? It's very uncommon. We're all so much with the life and speed. So why mindfulness? I really wish to see some more answers.
I think what Gaurav mentioned, to optimize, maximize your mind. So we are not using 100% efficient.
Right. So is there a big gap, small gap? Because we're all pretty doing, Gaurav is where he is today and pretty all right? He's doing quite well. So
Because
to the potential.
somewhere I think I read, science also says this. It's only that part of the brain, a person is able to utilize,
10% only.
it's 10% of it. So
I don't know about 10%, but Einstein is said to be used. Einstein
Maybe we are
is,
trying to push ourselves to the session to mindfulness. Maybe a 1% increase will be.
don't become Einstein, because he's supposed to be using maximum capacity of his mind. That was about 7% is what data says. So he has bigger plans. So he has bigger plans, but what about rest of us? Why does it? I don't have bigger plans. I don't want to be Einstein. I'm okay with what I am. In a peaceful small house and my food, happy life. So we're all here because we all want to become Einsteins, or is there any other reason?
See, sometimes we always think, it's always to achieve more or to push us more that way. There is also another thing for us that we are all in a, mad rush. Our life is like that. There are a lot of certain things which we are not mindful of. Certain small sensitive things which we just brush off. So even so, certain small things we have to be very mindful of. Even that sense also we can take it, right?
So, yeah, but if we don't have, we are multitasking, we are so efficient.
No, we are multitasking. How efficient we are only efficient in one, probably at work or at home, but there are a lot of other small things which we miss out, right?
So you want
which
to
we are
do
not
those.
mindful of.
So you're saying we are doing work, we're efficient at work and home, but small things we're missing. So it's one of those aspects which we can add on. Like what Girish was saying, we are already better, like what she was saying. So we could add on, right? But is it anything huge that we have to really be odd man out to talk about mindfulness, to practice breathing and doing all these things which are not common? We can watch a movie, have fun, do all that stuff and keep moving. There's nothing wrong in watching movies. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we can keep doing that all day long. When we are tired, when we are stressed, when we are angry, we can have a diversion of doing something like this. Chat with a friend, crib with a friend, watch a movie, do all this, what we normally do. Why mindfulness? It's working, right? We're working pretty alright. I'm afraid to ask anything to Suresh because he has all the answers. He's advanced meditator himself. So
Is there any connection between, like heavy words like happiness and peace, inner peace, or is there some connection there that this is a tool to achieve that, or at least go closer to that?
Okay, that's a nice point you said. But what I'm trying to understand genuinely, because this session is for me, it's an opportunity to understand what everybody thinks and how we relate to things. Because we all relate to things very differently. Happiness is, yes, But I'm earning money. My salary could always be more, right? So that feeling is definitely there. But I'm still all right. I'm happy. I could be slightly more, but I'm okay. So what's this mindfulness all about? Why do I have to worry about this? When I can just do what I'm doing and just be okay. Maybe work a bit more, so few more hours, impress my bosses, get somewhere else, right? Get the next promotion, get the next job, one more. So why mindfulness? Yes.
Not to forget to smell the roses
Why
along the
mindfulness?
way, because sometimes when
Looking for the same.
you're very hectic, you actually bypasses something that is very trivial, and probably just making a check on, there are little things that you have to pay attention to along the way.
So you're pretty much different. Her point, I agree, but how does it matter to smell a rose? I'm running for something better. So rose I can ignore, right? What's the point?
It's something to do with our mind and heart, right? It's like
So you may
to
come
calm
back
our
to work and
mind,
you
there's a
just
bad
feel-
rush, we have to sit for a while, calm our mind. It also gives us some inner peace, inner satisfaction.
peace,
See, all this we do for our for the materialistic life that we are running around. Okay?
Materialistic
As
life
a
is
person, we also need some inner peace. It may not be spiritual, even otherwise we need to sit down, calm, maybe 5-10 minutes a day, and then to question more about ourselves and to get that inner peace.
Okay, inner peace. So again, what brings us happiness and peace is what we keep doing all day, right? We want this kind of job, we do that, or we want to sit at home, we do that. We want to do something else, we do that. Whatever we do.
Not necessarily, right? See, a job is needed to live in this world because you need that money to live here. But then it has got nothing to do with your what do you call? How do you say it? Like, I may really want to do this only for society, my family, and all that. But as a person, I might want to do something entirely very different. I might want to go sit in help in a old age home, or help somebody, or those kind of things.
So
which gives me real happiness. Maybe it is.
Nothing
There
to
are
do with money.
two different things: real
So-
happiness and materialistic running.
So you're saying that you want to learn mindfulness so that you can actually do what brings you more happiness, like old age home, and not work here. So you want to be more confident being able to take
It's not
decisions.
that I don't want to work. I will do this, but even that's what initially I said. That little things which we miss in life. Maybe this week, if we are more mindful, and I can do this in between, then even my proper job, the regular job which I am doing, I might do it better.
So improve on the satisfaction and the feeling.
Ah.
Yes, Ina, what do you think?
I think it is also to maintain the balance between your mind, body, and your soul.
Balance between mind, body, and soul. Those are very big words, 3 big words now. So we can take one whole day to define them. But yes, it makes sense. Okay, there is a reason why I'm trying to ponder on this, right? Because it's very important to be able to make mindfulness relevant to us each day, and it not being a lecture and a practice that fails, and then we say, okay, another lecture maybe after a year, and then we pursue it like that. It is important that we understand what it is, because there lies the magic moment of being able to be mindful. That is why I'm wanting to ponder on this point. Very important, because there's tons of study done on happiness. What brings us happiness, right? If you see, as human beings, right, I wanted to finish, when I was a kid, I wanted to finish my 10th standard. Excellent feeling. That finished, I wanted to do CA, that finished, and I wanted to get married, that finished, I wanted to do next job, that finished, next promotion, that finished. I want to CA in US, CA here, all that finished. But I'm always looking up, this sense of wanting something else. Not very happy, wow, I'm doing so many things, I've done so many things. More than that, I have my 90% of day is about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. I'm always running and running. That's my personal experience. Always there's a rush, there's insecurity, always following me. When I wake up, that fear, I don't know if you really have, I want to wake up fresh, light, just to open up with the possibilities of what life is. But I always have the fear, get up, nothing big, work, and yes, that could go wrong, this could happen, that meeting and this, and always clogged up with things. So mindfulness is about being with what we are doing. It could be this, tomorrow you could choose to do something else, but being in sync with this moment. It's not about getting to a place, it is about how we are getting to a place. that how is being mindful. It is not a status to achieve. It is a status of being. Just being in sync with what is happening right now. And how real it is, and how basic it is. If you have to say, if this is my table at my home, I don't like the color white. If I say why this is white and I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm unhappy, this is white, people will call me mad. But if you really look back into how we spend our days, we do a job, we're not happy, we do something else, we're not happy. We are always not in sync with this present moment, which is what it is, meaning to say that it is already what it is. You're only cribbing about something which has already happened. The dissatisfaction is about something which is already past. You cannot change it. It's basic common sense. But if you just look back, if we all look back inside and watch, where are we in this moment, right? We are so much into the topic, so let me pull back and let's be a bit more mindful. As you listen to me, I'm liking the attention, but if you are just more mindful, just breathe in. Can we do that? Just watch what is happening as you breathe in. What's your body saying? Is there unease? Is there comfort? Is there a lack in the present moment? Is there a discomfort with the present moment? Is there a fight with the present moment that we're doing? As we are. Reflect back on yesterday, last week, 1 month, 1 year. Reflect back on the loved ones around you, how they spend their days, how we interact with them. Are we in sync with the present moment? So mindfulness is more about being in sync with the present moment. It could be that you want to do something else. It's totally different, right? It's not about not wanting to do anything and just accepting what it is. But accepting what it is doesn't mean you accept what you do not want. It just means you appreciate that it is already there and existing, and you have to consciously bring a change if you want a different thing. It is not about the suffering that you have to be in to bring a change. Because if you look back on where we are today, we have a strong belief system that the pain, the suffering is bringing change. How many of us agree? The suffering brings us change. I don't like this moment, that's why I am changing to the next. Looking for a change. The pain, the anger, frustration.
I think it doesn't have to be, yet it is, but it doesn't have to be that. Maybe you're striving for something better, even though you're perfectly satisfied, but then again, there's a sort of, you have a set of goal for yourself and you want to bring a change. Unless you don't bring the change, you don't reach there.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't have to be a pain all the time. You see, it could be just the desire to do something better than what you're doing now.
Absolutely. But if you see the origin of desire, do we relate it to the pain, or do we relate it to the conscious understanding that we do not want a thing?
Yes,
and
it is the pain, the sufferings that brings a change. Yes, if you go on the root cause of anything, there must be related to some pain or suffering for which he have set the goals or she have set the goals or anything. Take for any country or anything, they have set the goals and they try to achieve it.
The suffering will bring in action.
Yes.
Last time we discussed about falling in the mud, right? Up there, Manmeet?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So
I heard a lot about you from Jatin. He was saying to chal.
Nice. Because the interesting thing is that few people who want to try, we have maximum questions from them, and that's very knowledgeable for all of us.
Right.
When you throw up, you don't agree. And that's where we try to relate to figure. Even for me, I will look at things and how it is, and when we start discussing about things, it's more of discussion which brings out what we're looking at. One other most important thing I must tell you is the wonderful thing about mindfulness. You could pay $1 million to learn it, or hear for free. Whichever way it is, the wonderful thing is nobody can tell you what you do not already know. It is deep within us that we already know. Somewhere lost in the momentum of the belief systems we are brought up with. So you just bring that, as you discuss, you realize it could be something totally different, it could be the same. It's not that. It's about, it's what you relate to inside. So So that's mindfulness. We'll discuss that. I will not dwell too much into it because it's a longer discussion, but we'll definitely talk. As we go to more sessions, we will get into that because it's a very important point. Would suffering bring us to action? Or would the recognition that I do not want it? Okay, I just don't feel like leaving that question. So let me just quickly talk about that, right? For the benefit of that. If you fall into a mud, right? You fall into the mud. So in India, just roll back when we worked in India, rainy season, important meeting. I walk out and then I fall into the mud, right? I would go back home, dress up again, I missed my meeting. So how I deal with the entire thing? Suppose at home I'm reactive, at work I'm messed up, my day is pretty much going to be bad. So if that's where I am, I look back. If it was my kid going to the school, he falls down, right? I will look at him and he starts crying and my teacher will scold me and say, it's okay buddy. And then if my friend asks me, just a kid, he's crying, he'll be okay, he just loses half day of school, that's no big deal, right? Makes so much sense, right? But if it is us, does it make sense? It looks natural, the pain looks natural, the suffering looks natural. The action of getting up from the mud, going back to home, changing the dress, after taking a shower, it's not the pain, it is the common understanding that I'm dirty, I have to change. But we create pain because we have that belief system. So I'll leave it there with a quick note on that and move on. So it's actually a very important thing for mindfulness to understand where the suffering comes from, where the discomfort in this present moment comes from. We'll also cover it as we go. So what do we need? Why do we need it? We need it not to get to somewhere. We need it to be in sync with this moment. This moment is perfect as it is. Why? Can somebody tell me?
Because we are alive.
Sorry?
We are alive.
No, but it could be different. It could be that I could be having $1 million. I could be doing a lot of other things, right? So why should this moment be perfect as it is?
That's what you can control. You can feel right now. And you can't. Past is past. Future
You'll never get it back
This moment
again.
is in my hand. So
This is the present.
This is in my hand.
But it's in your hand. Why it has to be perfect, man? I'm just fooling around saying it's perfect, right? Just because it's mindfulness session discussion where I'm saying it's perfect. It's not perfect. I have too many issues with it. I have 100 things to solve. So why is this moment perfect?
Not perfect.
Why is this moment what it is? Any discomfort we feel right now, not when I said right now, right, is my problem, my creation. I cannot say Girish said I did some bad job somewhere that I am having pain right now. It is absolutely my creation.
Having right now is the after effect of what has been happening couple of hours before.
Absolutely. At this moment,
Yeah. A few hours before, if somebody has given you some grievance or some pain, that effect carries on, and at that moment you feel that pain.
yes, just to rephrase it, because somebody cannot give me pain. The whole point of discussion here is why this moment is what it is. And any pain in this moment is my creation. Go back to the same example of this table being white. This moment is as it is, and it already is. This table is already white. I'm crying foul about it, that I want it to be red. I will be called mad. If you see me doing that at my home, you'll say, "Really, what is wrong with this? You can go and change it. Why is he crying, right?" I'm saying crying, but in what we do every moment. This is that. The pain, what we feel, is always about not accepting what already is. So this moment that is why perfect as it is. We understand it now, it will miss like this. It will miss like this. Because we're so used to saying suffering creates action. I'm not comfortable. Somebody, Girish gave me a bad review. Girish has no power, just for example, so has no power to really push that. It's what he gave is a feedback. I have to work on to look at what else should be done. If I react, my pain, my anger is only my creation out of what he said. It is not about he causing me anything. You can relate that example, this example, table example, to Girish example, to everything in life. Falling in mud. You put it anywhere, the logic is same. Our mind rejects it, so this is a wonderful exercise that one example which makes sense to you, not because I said it, take something else. If it makes sense to you, keep that in mind. When you're angry on somebody, is it because somebody said something wrong, I am angry? So reflect back on that. Then see if it makes sense. We can always discuss as we go along. But this is a very important point for mindfulness workout, because that's the whole fundamental that we are not trying to get anywhere. We are trying to be in sync with this moment. Right? Great. Okay. Yes, mindful or mindful. Right? So, can we all see it? Yeah, so from mindfulness is, I cannot take this from here to here, because again we are talking about getting somewhere. If I am talking about getting somewhere, I am already missing the concept of mindfulness. Right? But mindfulness is not this, it is this. Right? It is not getting from here to here. This is a very important point of getting to somewhere. We are so used to wanting something else, always wanting. So that takes us away from the fundamental logic of how to be mindful. That's why I'm saying not getting from here to here, it's just being here. Right? We'll talk about that a bit more as we go along. Now, just to give some data, we all like I said, I am a person who goes with that feeling. We can call it intuition, heart, give whatever names we want, but what is inside matters to me. Yes, we can have a bit of data to feel good, but what matters is to inside what makes sense to us, right? So there was this Harvard research done in 2010 where we said average person, 47% of the working hours they are thinking. So I'm spending 8 hours, half of it actually, this is again split between 22 activities. Maximum is 60. When we are taking a shower or brushing teeth, we tend to think much more. So 65% of that time we think. We have a lot of thoughts. 50% when we are working, we are thinking. So if I'm working 8 hours, it means I'm actually working for 4 hours. So that's the data which shows. On an average, through all the activities, I am thinking over 30% of the time. I'm not really doing what I want to do, rather I'm lost in thoughts. Right? And then same data was analyzed in a way to say when I'm lost in thoughts, most of it being negative, but also the positive thoughts, so-called positive, are also included. Whenever a person is lost in thoughts, he is always unhappy. Irrespective of what kind of thoughts. Majority are negative, but even if they are not happy. Right? So this scientist conclusion is the human mind is a wandering mind, and a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. So he has all this data to conclude what he has said, right? Now this is about the brain when it actually does what it wants to do, right? It's all efficient and quiet. We just wanted to do this and doing this. But the default state, which we are all at normally, it is inattentive, distracted, idle, recalling past, daydreaming. It is all distorted. That's the brain scan for people who suffer from Alzheimer's. Right? They tend to live between 5 to 10 years after they are diagnosed with Alzheimer's, depending on what stage, but yeah, that's what it is. And we have a tendency to follow the crowd, right? If people are dying at 70, we think it's normal that only generations have passed like that, it's okay. People get heart disease at 55, 60, we think it's okay. But if you just stop saying it's okay, just reflect back a bit, it's quite a pity. If you really see, some people are really fit. 50, 60 year old, I know people who are like that. 60 years is just moving. I see my dad, 60 years he thinks he's 100 years old. Right? And I have so many people, 30, heart disease at 30. And we think it's generation, it's as if it's the DNA change that is made like that. It is not so. It is absolutely what we are doing right now, how we are spending our days. Imagine 50% of the time, you're always thinking something else and you're not happy. It's like most of us drive cars, right? Put the hand gear on and race. that's what we're doing to ourselves as mind and body. Accept it or not, it looks common because 99% of the people do it, but it's a choice, right? So this is another data which says the life expectancy of people with this wandering minds are really drastically reduced. It's a more of a scientific telometer range, which shows that the higher the mind wandering, the lower the life expectancy is. Right. So the mind, as we know, is the most powerful thing than any supercomputer ever formed, right? Ever made, right? So I have some distractions, backbenches, but yeah, that's all right. Okay. Now, but the irony is that, of course, you know, there's so much of data behind science, behind mind. We have 60 trillion cells, and the blood pressure, the temperature, the heart beating, so many things. Our mind does it automatically, right? It's like 6 trillion commands every second. So that's how powerful the mind is. But what if I tell you that mind cannot recognize what is real and what is not? Would you agree? Would you agree? You please feel free to say no, alright?
No.
Thank you. Would you agree?
We all having wandering mind.
Would you agree? Rudy, do you think mind doesn't know what is real and what is not?
I agree.
You agree? Mind knows?
I think
Mind doesn't know.
mind doesn't
Mine
know.
no, mine doesn't know.
I think mind
Mine
knows.
is not our
Mind knows.
Mind knows.
Whoever is going to lose is going to give me party, alright? Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, no children here, I can still play. Do you remember a bad dream?
Yes.
When you woke up sweating, crying?
Yes.
Is it real?
No.
So what happened? Where is this sweating? If I switch off the aircon, there is heat, we sweat. It's real, right? So what with this dream? A lot of times when somebody gives us a bad news, which is wrong, or doesn't give a bad news, 1 day, 2 days because they couldn't reach us, we are all right. If that action event triggered something in us, it should have triggered when the event happened, right? Only not when we know it. This goes back to the point we discussed of suffering, whether event is causing suffering or we are causing suffering in our mind as we think. So the most powerful mind, it so happens that it thinks all thoughts are real as the way it behaves onto the body, right? So who all lost the bet, please remember, all right? So now, what we think is our reality. It's a fact. Nothing has to happen. If you think that tomorrow you're going